been a therapist my entire adult life, and I've seen every client from royalty, Olympic athletes to police officers.
Welcome to Greater Than Podcast, Marisa.
Thank you.
3 beliefs which work for you. What are your 3 beliefs?
I'm enough. I'm here to do something amazing. And I'm safe to be myself.
Why words are very important?
Well, words create magic. That's why it's called spelling. Manifesting is really 3 key things. First one is, am I worth it? The second step is work really hard. Every manifestor I know is working hard. And the third step to manifest is you cannot manifest from scarcity.
This is something very, very important we need to discuss because it's happening very often these days. Depression, mental health issues, a lot.
Do you know 1 in 8 people now has mental health issues around the world?
How do you really know?
Well, there's a lot of ways of finding out, are you happy? Do you have joy in life? Do you wake up and think, oh,
Concept of marriage is changing here. People don't want to commit.
I was working with Stephen Bartlett and he said to me, marriage was always a prison.
What happens in future when you do only casual sex?
Casual sex is fine, but it's only for a little while. The best thing in the world is waking up with someone who loves you.
What is addiction first?
An addiction is classified as anything that takes you away from a bad feeling to a good feeling. So you can have addiction to food, particularly sugar, alcohol, drugs, porn, shopping. Depression is going in, you have no motivation, no spark, no joy.
You had 2 times cancer and you recovered from it.
I had to believe that I would get better. It's so much like I am getting better. This is just a blip.
In today's episode, we have a very special guest, Marisa Peer, a world-famous therapist. In the last 4 decades, she has worked with celebrities, CEOs, and Olympic athletes, helping them to be the best at what they do. In our conversation, Marisa shares how the words you say and the beliefs you hold shape your life, what therapy really is and who actually needs it. How did she defeat cancer twice? What is addiction and how to overcome any addiction? How to shift your mindset to transform your life? So if you're stuck and want to break a pattern, or if you want to achieve extraordinary success, this conversation is for you. Enjoy the episode.
I'm going to start with the first most obvious question. You've been doing this for 40 plus years. How did it all start?
It started because I was going to be a school teacher. Then I thought I might be a child psychologist. And halfway through my training, I realized I wanted to do something else. Because when you're a child psychologist, you actually have 3 patients. You have child and parents are often divorced. And it was. I found you couldn't actually get the results fast enough. I've always been very much about what can I do that gets really fast, permanent results. So I abandoned that entirely. Went to Los Angeles and worked for Jane Fonda teaching aerobics, which was very different. And realized that almost all the women in her aerobic studio were either anorexic or bulimic or exercise compulsive or body dysmorphic. And I thought, oh, this is the thing I could really make a difference in. So I studied hypnosis because it was the fastest way to change someone's behavior. It goes straight into the brain and it rewires and overrides old programming. So that's where I began, and it became immensely successful. And I stayed in LA for quite a long time working with clients. And then I began to work on television shows behind the scenes, doing therapy, wrote some books, and eventually became a trainer because I created my own method. My own clients showed me what was really powerful, and I put it together in my own technique called Rapid Transformational Therapy. And here I am now. I still see clients. I speak all over the world. But mostly I teach people who trained with me who are doing this very successfully here in India.
Yeah, Marisa, the work you've been doing is so inspiring that people who either worked with you or with your therapy, the results they've got, we get to hear about that. So we know what you do is really, really powerful. And I also know that you had 2 times cancer and you recovered from it. Can you just talk to us about it?
Well, quantum physics, which is the most reliable science in the world, even more so than medical science, says this. If you can change your vibrational body or energies, you can change anything. So when you have an illness, any kind of illness, you have the physical illness, then you have the fear in the mind. Oh my God, I've got cancer. Is this a death sentence? will I ever get better? So I knew straight away, because I'd worked with lots of people with cancer before, I had to be very calm, very focused, very personal. I had to believe that I would get better. It's so much like, I am getting better. This is just a blip. Because your mind's job is to make your thoughts real. And you may think, well, that sounds so silly. But if I think a sad thought, my eyes will fill up with tears. If I think an embarrassed thought, I'll go bright red. If I think of hunger, my stomach will rumble. If I think of sex, especially if I'm a guy, I'll get a very physical reaction. So we already know that what the mind is thinking, the body is creating. In fact, every thought you think, your body is working to make it real. So the worst thing you can do is think, oh, this is a death sentence. I'm never going to get better. This is going to come back. You have to think this is a blip. It's just a blip. I was very lucky. It was only stage 1, so it really was a blip. So I began to work with my mind, and you have to use military-style language. You can't do wishy-washy, oh, I hope I'm okay. I command my body to get better. I compel my body to heal. So I condition and code my body to fight all the cancer cells. And I had womb cancer, and someone said to me, when they take out your womb, some cancer cells can fall out and then it will travel around your body, which is not helpful. So I imagined my womb wrapped in cling film. I imagined a fortress around it so that when it came out, all the cancer came with it. And that was very important for me, because instead of living in fear, and fear is so bad for your immune system, I was living in absolute confidence. I had no fear at all. I was certain that my womb was contained in cling film, wrapped in a fortress, and that I had cancer one day, and the next day I didn't, which was actually nice. I had it, and I don't have it. I only had it for a little period of time. And that might sound woo, but you see, woo actually works, because woo is, again, quantum physics. I'm thinking a thought, my body's making it real. So I always believe this is just a blip. And I felt very lucky, because I didn't need a womb. If you're going to have cancer, having an organ that you can live without. I mean, nobody needs a womb past the age of 50. And I was 50 exactly when I got cancer, when I didn't need it. So I felt quite lucky that I could just do that, say goodbye to it and let it go and carry on without it. And when people come up and say, I'm a cancer survivor, I said, no, I'm not a cancer survivor. I don't have it. I'm done with it. I really believe that that's a journey that I'm over with. And the thing with cancer is, you can live without the cancer, but the cancer can't live without you. That means you've already won.
Yep.
Because it can't live without you. Yet you can live without it, so you have to be the winner. So I did a lot of visualization, visualizing my body fighting back, visualizing myself bouncing back. Always thought of it as a blip. And I didn't really talk about it that much afterwards. And what was so interesting is I got cancer in September 2015, and I had my first RTT school in December 2015, and I was going to Costa Rica that October to do a huge event. And when they said you can't go, I'm like, oh no, I'm not cancelling this is my life. There's no way I'm not going. I was determined to go. And I think it's good to be determined, focused, and have a vision. I knew I would get on that plane and go to Costa Rica. I knew I'd come back and do my school. So I was very motivated to get better.
The quality of your self-talk is directly proportional to the quality of your life, which is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the words first, because you're a big fan of it. I remember the conversations you've been having in airport, backstage, what we tell ourselves, the words we use.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that? Why words are very important?
Well, words create magic. That's why it's called spelling. I love that. So your words shape your reality. If you don't like your reality, go back and look at your words. If you go, I'm terrified, I'm so scared, I'm anxious, I'm worried, you're going to live in the language of those words. We live in the language of the words we use, but they are our words and we can change them. So a simple thing, instead of saying, I'm nervous, you can say, I'm excited. I was actually doing a little FaceTime when I was waiting to go on stage on Saturday in front of thousands of people. And I was saying to the audience, look, here I am. I do feel adrenaline going through my body. I do feel like I want to pee every 5 minutes, but I have a choice now. My body has no choice, but I have a choice. I can go, wow, I'm so excited. This is amazing. How lucky. This is my fantasy dream come true. Or, oh my God, this is terrible. I'm shaking. I'm a nervous wreck. I don't think I'm fit to go out on stage and speak to those people. So my body has no choice but to act on my words. Well, I have a choice to upgrade my words, to say this is good, this is exciting, this is thrilling, this is wonderful, I'm ready, I've got this, or oh my God, this is terrifying. Because your mind doesn't know or care. It looks to you for direction. So when you say, I'm panicking, I'm freaking out, I'm stressed out of my mind, my boss is driving me crazy, this job is killing me, this commute will be the death of me, this kid is making me go insane. None of these things are true. Your boss is not killing you. Your kid isn't making it. And if you want to lie to yourself, at least have a better lie. I'm a phenomenal parent. My boss is a challenge, but I've got great skills. Yeah, this journey is long, but didn't I say I want an hour to myself every day to listen to programs and listen to nice stuff? So you always have a choice. You have a brilliant brain, and here's your choice with a brilliant brain. Talk yourself into it or out of it. Talk yourself out of bad stuff. I've got rocks of brains. I can't remember a thing. Everything I touch falls apart. Things never work out for me. Oh, talk yourself into it. I'm actually very smart. I've got the skills to do this job. Who couldn't love me? I'm going to find a great person because I'm lovable. Because wherever you tell your mind, it will go. But it can't go in two lanes. The mind can't hold conflicting thoughts. And it can't hold conflicting beliefs. So if the thought is, I want to speak in public, but I'd be terrible. I want love, but I couldn't bear to be dumped. I want to write a coaching book. What if it was awful? So now you're going in two lanes. Yep. Go into one lane. Use good language to keep in that lane about I'm writing a great coaching program. I'm an amazing coach. I have a gift. I'm meant to do this. I'm good at my job. Your mind doesn't care if what you say is good or bad, useful or useless, helpful or harmful. It's all going to sink in.
Correct, Marisa. As you rightly said, your mind doesn't know positive and negative.
Of course, it doesn't even hear it. So saying don't think about Cadbury's chocolate, saying think about Cadbury's chocolate. Yeah. Don't think of pink snow.
You'll think about pink.
Don't think of the Himalaya mountains being pink. You have to think of it.
Yeah. So it doesn't know positive, negative. It also doesn't know whether the event is happening or you're thinking about the event. Of
course, yeah.
It's just going to respond the same way.
That's why when you're watching a terrifying TV show, it feels so real. The mind, is this real or is it in my imagination? It makes no difference at all.
So now that you're saying that, why should we be watchful of the words is because it doesn't know. It's like you're giving a program to your mind.
Yeah.
Might well give the right keywords and code. Correct?
Your mind is really like a robot. People say, I knew that would happen. I knew I'd get sick. I knew that would go wrong. Well, yes, you did, because you kept saying it. You know, I had an interesting life. My father was never sick a day in his life. And my mother was sick all her life. And she'd say, that's going to make me ill. I'm so stressed. My nervous stomach's going to play out. I'm going to get a cold. My dad went, I never get sick. And he actually got cancer when he was 17. Even then he said, it was nothing at all. And it's a great thing to say. That's just nothing at all. So, we are in charge of our words. No one else is making them up. They're our words. And if they're our words, our job is to upgrade them, edit them, change them. And it's a bit like a ladder. We think a thought, and the thought we think creates a feeling that we feel, and the feeling that we feel creates a behavior that we behave. So we have to go back. Don't worry about the behavior or the feeling, change the thinking. I do this a lot with children in schools. I literally have 3 flip charts and a triangle. And the first one is a thought. Think a negative thought, run to a feeling, run to a behavior, run back. And the thought might be, I can't do maths. So I feel terrible. And our behavior is either cry or get angry. But if we flip that to, I'm so good at maths, I feel brave. And the behavior is, ask the teacher for help because I'm a smart kid. So just flipping the thought changes the behavior and the feeling. As coaches, we understand that. Don't worry about the behavior. Keep going back to what you're thinking and indeed what you're believing, because a belief is nothing more than a thought. You think a lot. Yeah. But they are our thoughts. We own them. We can get rid of them. Just like if your computer had a virus, you overwrite it. We're so busy upgrading our software, but this needs upgrading the most. This is software too. Upgrade it, improve it, override the bad stuff, install better software. Yep. And your life will change probably beyond all recognition.
So you need to watch your thoughts. For everyone watching out there, irrespective of where they are, what is happening, if they are aware of the way they think, starts with awareness, right? First, you need to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Then you think what to do. So my next question is, if thoughts are so critical, where do thoughts come from? That's the next question.
Well, Well, we are born with thoughts. A baby's born with a thought. Here I am. You're going to attend to all my needs. In the womb, it's like being in Taj Mahal Hotel. You get 5-star room service 24 hours a day. Someone is always there. So a baby has an interesting thought. All my needs are met. I just have to cry, which is why a baby will. They never think, oh, it's 4 a.m., my mum's really tired, or she spent ages making this broccoli, I shouldn't spit it out. They're very focused on, I'm here because I matter. All my needs will be met. They believe they're very worthy of attention because they demand it. You know, they cry on demand. They want to be fed on demand. So babies born with a belief, I deserve everything. And they're very purposeful. You know, we learn half of what we learn in our whole life before we're 5. If you watch a baby trying to crawl, trying to feed, my daughter's little boy is just 7 months old, and already he wants to feed himself. He doesn't want them to do it, and he takes the spoon off them, and he doesn't care that he gets it in his hair and his ear. He is driven. And you see babies driven to walk, to crawl, to reach stuff. And then we think, well, what happens? And what happens is other people say, oh, you shouldn't do that. Oh, you'll get hurt if you do that. That's not good for you. You'll fall. You're going to hurt yourself. People won't like you if you're smarter than them. And we learn to dim our light. Because people say crazy stuff like, nobody will like you if you have money.
Yep.
Nobody likes a show off. Don't brag about that. Keep it quiet. You know, dim your light in case others don't like you. But you're not supposed to dim your light. You're supposed to shine it brighter than ever. Because when you shine, people say, wow, if you can do it, I can do it. So it isn't that we are born able to criticize. We're born with a cheerleader going, yay, you can do everything. Other people teach us. Shouldn't do that. That's never going to work out. People like us don't have money. People like us, we never get those kind of jobs. You know, you'll never find a man if you are so successful.
So you're necessarily saying parents, teachers, people with authority.
And even social media, all these different people, parents, grandparents, teachers, even friends, even bullies. And now we have social media telling us this stuff that you can go on a site and say, grade me. And they go, oh, you're a 3. And we allow other people to tell us who we are. You know, I saw Paris Hilton last month saying, I was told I would only ever be a popcorn actress. I was told I'd never be enough. But there's the thing. Someone told her. Someone doesn't tell you. You tell them, hey, I'm going to be an amazing Oscar-winning actress. I'm going to tell you who I am. You can't tell me. I will tell you. And we're so scared of saying, this is my gift. I was flying once between London and LA, and we hit terrible turbulence. And the pilot said, please don't worry. I'm British Airways' best pilot. I do this route every week. We're going to drop down below the turbulence. No, we went, oh, I don't like him. We went, oh, how nice. We've got the best pilot. We can all relax now. So the best gives you confidence and reassurance. And you have to say, I am the best in my category. I'm the best coder, the best at IT, the best chef, the best coach. Some people don't like it. Most people think, oh, I'm so glad I found you and you're the best. Now I can relax because my change is in your hands. So don't be scared of telling people you're the best, because if you can't say it, how can they ever believe it?
Correct. So you're saying teachers, parents tell stuff when you're a kid, and those are programs which become your belief system, which you don't even know running your life.
Yeah.
And you think that's the truth. So now by watching you, if you can change the way you tell words about you, reprogram that, your thoughts can change and everything can change. That's why I'm so happy you started this I'm Enough movement.
Yeah.
Can you just let us know what is this all about?
Yes, I've been a therapist my entire adult life, and I've seen every client from royalty, Olympic athletes, to police officers, pilots, school teachers. And I realized very quickly they all had the same problem, which was this: I'm not enough. I'm not worthy enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not interesting. I'm not educated enough. I'm not attractive enough. If I'm not enough, I'll always need more praise, more recognition, and I might always self-sabotage. If I know I'm enough, I'm going to go well, I deserve a better career, a promotion. I can improve my relationship or get a better one because I'm worth it. So the I'm Enough movement is really putting back what you were born with. Knowing you are worthy of love and attention and affection and praise. And so many of us don't get it. And so the I'm Enough movement is stopping you and saying, look, it's okay. This is not your fault. You are worthy of love, deserving of love, just the way you are. And we've got it in a lot of schools. We have it everywhere. And it makes such a difference. If you don't think you're enough, start saying, I am enough. And as you say it, you might find that you feel very tearful or even angry or dismissive or even scared. You're tearful because you should have done it 10 years ago. You're angry because you don't believe it's true. Dismissive, you think it's silly old woo-woo. Silly old woo-woo works. It's quantum physics. And scared just means you're scared of change, even scared of your own greatness. But the only way you can control that fear of change is to make the direction of change good. So say it a lot, and eventually it'll stop being what you say. It'll be who you are. So even if you don't believe it, keep saying, I'm enough. Even make it into all your parts of the squiggles and dots and numbers, of course. So when you have to open your computer or phone, you must type in I'm enough with some security, of course. Because when you have to say it, read it, state it every day, it sinks in. You see, if I put olive oil on warm bread, it's going to sink in, isn't it?
Yep.
But if I put fly spray on warm bread, it will also sink in.
Yep.
Or toxic stuff.
Yep.
It will all go in, and your brain is a bit like the warm toast. Whatever you offer it, it will go in. You want to offer it beautiful, healthy stuff, not toxic stuff, because it will go in anyway.
Correct. So you're saying start with affirmation, put it wherever you can see, and the more you do it, you want to become that, but one day you'll be that.
Yeah, be it as you become it.
So
it's not even faking it till you make it. It's be it, state it, affirm it. I don't use affirmations. I like intentions or statements. And affirmation can often be I'm every day, I'm getting better and better at what? Getting headaches and missing work. Better and better at avoiding sex with my husband. Getting better and better at lying around on the sofa watching Netflix all day. So if you are making an affirmation, the brain only responds to words that make pictures. Every day, I'm getting better and better is very ambiguous.
Yeah. It's very broad.
Yeah, you want to say something. The brain only responds to words that make pictures. They have to be in the present tense. You can't say next year I'll be a millionaire. You have to say now, even though that isn't true. And it doesn't hear not, do, no, or maybe. So an affirmation will work if you said, I am phenomenally gifted at IT. I am the smartest salesperson in the world. I am the greatest asset to this team. I'm the most magnetically lovable person ever. My partner's so lucky to have me. Because as you say it, the brain goes, there are some objections, but you're the one who's objecting. No one else is going, that's not true. It's you. But if you keep going, the brain goes, oh, hey, you say this every day, it must be true. And then all the objections go. And it becomes real. So you can call it an affirmation or an intention or a statement of truth, but you've got to state it. Yeah. I deserve to be a best-selling author. This book is amazing. I'm a fantastic parent. I've got wonderful coping skills. You might go, yeah, but I screamed at my kids last week. It doesn't matter. I did, but I am still a fantastic parent, learning from that and getting better. So when you have an objection, add it in. Not really a great coach, but I'm becoming the best coach ever. I'm enthusiastic and passionate, and I have a heart for it, and I'm learning. So I am the best coach.
Yeah, it's I am with an emotion precisely. How do you see yourself?
Exactly.
That should be the affirmation. Now from I am enough, I want to ask you this question because we are in India. Therapy is a taboo topic. People think only sick people should go to therapy.
Of course.
Can you please tell me who needs therapy actually?
Almost everybody, actually. You know, I've worked with some Oscar-winning actors and actresses who are already at the top of their game who have therapy to be even better. One of my clients recently was playing a very iconic figure and said, you know, I need some help. And it was so funny because I went to his house and I was thinking, well, who am I to work with you? And he was saying, oh, well, who am I to play this figure? And we both had imposter syndrome. We both thought, who am I? But we both did it anyway. And that's the trick. You can think, who am I? But do it anyway. So I work with a lot of Olympic athletes who want to break world records, football players, cricketers who want to go to the very top of their game. And of course, performance. You think training is enough, but it's the ability to see it, to see yourself getting that gold medal, breaking the 4-minute mile barrier, jumping higher. And I work with a lot of politicians and royalty and all kinds of people who say, you know, I need to deliver better, to orate better, to speak in public better. And people have all kinds of issues, from the things we know like fears, phobias, panic attacks, lack of confidence, to physical things such as I get migraine headaches or irritable bowel and my skin's always breaking out, to I can't find love. I seem to sabotage myself. So we have diseases, but most doctors will tell you that even a disease up to 90%, 70 at least, up to 90, a disease of the thinking. We have less diseased organs and much more diseased thoughts. But that's good news because I can fix a diseased thought. I can't really fix a diseased organ. That requires antibiotics or even a transplant. But a diseased thought, I'll never be enough. Never going to work out. I'm not a lovable person. You know, I was working in the school system in Dubai last night. This little girl tonight said, I hate myself. I said, should I hate myself? I said, darling, you got to stop hating yourself and love yourself. You're a beautiful person. But at 9, she'd got into this pattern of diseased thinking. I hate myself. I hate myself. And so we've got to be very careful with children who think those thoughts because eventually they invite illness. Because if you don't want to take an exam or you're being bullied at school, you're having a bad day and you go, I don't want to go, the brain, this is the genie. Your wish is it's going to keep you at home by creating an illness. You know, all children go, my tummy hurts.
Yep.
Even as 2, they understand the stomach is the seat of all emotions. I mean, I can't stomach that person. My stomach was in knots about that. So we've got to be careful with the self-hatred, dismissing or being our own worst critic because our body's got to action those thoughts, even though they're very hurtful and harmful.
Marisa, quick question. Now you told me who all needs therapy. Let's say
everybody.
Just give me an example. Let's say this is a person who comes to you. What ideally would you do with them?
So somebody might come in and say, all my relationships go wrong. Somebody might come in and say, I just can't make a success. I seem to sabotage. Somebody might come in and say, I always have headaches. I'll give you an example. I came in this really nice guy. And he said, I can't succeed. I'm a trader, but I'm too scared to enter the trade. And I exited at the wrong time, and I'm a very bad trader. And I have no success with women. I don't know why, but I just feel there's something wrong with me. And as therapists, we have what I call an ear prick up. And when he said, I feel there's something wrong with it, I don't know what it is, but there's something wrong with me. And I see it at work and I see it in my relationships. And so a therapist will do 3 things. Find the pattern immediately, make sense of it and change it. Find it, understand it, change it. Some therapists just spend years trying to find it. Some try to change it. RTT is very clear. We're going to find it, understand, change it all in the same session. And they see the brain always goes backwards. You might go, I love the smell of lavender, reminds me of my grandmother. I love coconut, reminds me of the beach. And when I taste apple pie, it reminds me of something. So smells, taste, you go, oh, that song, my wedding song, I like to hear that. It takes me back to the day I got married. So we know the brain goes back. So in RTT, we take the brain back. And he went back to 3 scenes, not huge stuff. The first one, he was breaking his toys, crashing his cars, and his parents said, what's wrong with you? Look at your sisters combing their doll's hair. Why are you so difficult? Because they had 2 girls and then a boy, and they didn't understand that a boy is not a girl. In the second scene, they're on a long car journey, and he was joining, and they kept saying, what's wrong with you? Why can't you be quiet? Look, they're just reading their books. And on the third scene, he fell out of a tree, and his father went, what is wrong with you? Why are you always breaking things? And you see, this was not a fleeting thought. It was a statement. What is wrong with you every day? And of course, an adult would say, oh, actually, it's called testosterone. I'm a boy. I meant to jump and break things and learn and break sticks because I'm a boy. But they had 2 very easygoing girls, and they just didn't understand how to cope with this boy who was full of energy. It's like getting a goldfish, then a puppy going, oh, the puppy's not like the goldfish. Of course it isn't, because it's a puppy full of energy. So he understood, he found the pattern which was being told every day, what's wrong with you? And actually that's the statement, something's wrong with you, what is it? He began to understand, my parents were bad people. They just had been so seduced by these 2 perfect daughters, and they didn't know how to handle me. Should have had me first. And now I'm going to change the pattern. I'm going to say I'm not that kid who thought I should be different. I was meant to be a boy. I'm an amazing man. And he said, my parents love me. And he didn't even have to confront them because they were just naive.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have said that every day, but they didn't do it with bad intention. They just were exasperated. So he found the pattern, understood it, and changed it. And we began to say, no, you're a fantastic trader. You're an amazing person. Because he was very good looking and had a great personality. And he said afterwards, it's amazing. I'm just having so much success with women. I've been promoted. Because he could go back and go, when he said there's something wrong with me in the session, that was his lesson. Also, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? And eventually that becomes real. We were always making that something is wrong with me. In fact, everything was right with him. He was a male, full of testosterone. He was perfectly normal. And he could now have great success with women and be brave as a trader. And all of this happened. But you see, until that minute, he was going, something's wrong. I don't know what's wrong with me. Yeah. Something's wrong there. I don't know what it is. I guess I'm crazy. Something's wrong there. I have no idea what it is. I guess I'm really messed up. So that's the thing. We walk around going, something's wrong with me. I don't know why I can't find love, be successful. I have no idea why. And sometimes it's big things, and other times it's simple stuff, like in Matt's case. But they have an impact because, again, a child can't control the world. He made sense of that. He lived in the language we live in a language of our feelings, and his feeling was something's wrong with me. He heard that all the time. Another client was telling me she had an Indian grandmother who'd come to visit, and she only liked her. And every Saturday she'd hand us some money. She said, don't let anyone know, because I only like you. Your sisters won't like you if they know. And so she'd hide this money and say, don't tell your sisters, they won't like you. And of course this happened every week. And what she picked up was, oh, people don't like you with money. And she said, I got no joy from that money. I felt so guilty because only I got it. I couldn't even spend it. I had to hide it, couldn't spend it. What was the point of it? And all these years later, she had a tremendous fear of wealth, a belief people won't like you with money. You know, we play back this old way, people don't like you with money. When you have money, you never know who your friends are. It's all going to go wrong. So again, because she heard this every week, it became a fixed belief, not a fleeting thought. People don't like you with money. If you believe that and it goes in, of course you will. And people say things like, oh, look at that fat cat, look at that rich bitch. Those people are filthy rich. And if you believe that about money, how are you going to make it? You've already believed it's bad, and no one likes you. So you have to change that and go, there's no such thing as a fat cat or filthy rich or a rich bitch. And in fact, imagine if I had money and did wonderful things with it.
Yeah.
So part of I'm Enough movement is looking at these money blocks, love blocks, health blocks, success blocks, and saying, look, make a list of who would benefit from you having wealth. What good stuff could you do? And then all the fears go away. But we have to go back and look at our behavior. And our parents often say stuff like, oh, I can't find the money. But you don't find money, you make money. I don't know where the money's coming from. If you have more, someone else has less. I want never gets. Don't be greedy until we begin to think, oh, having money is really bad and people don't like you. You see, once that sinks in, you're going to live in the language of that and the feelings of that belief. Or if your mother says, oh, you know, getting married ruined my life, every person I met cheated on me, men are bad news. You're going to live in the language of that belief, which isn't even true. That's your mother's story. She might have been a very bad picker, but it's not your story. So we have to go back and do something really simple. Look at these beliefs. Where did I get this belief from? Who gave it to me? Is it true? And even if it is it true for me? The answer is no. My grandmother's beliefs are not mine. Even my mother's beliefs are not mine, and my beliefs are not my daughter's. So we have to upgrade our beliefs. And the I'm Enough movement is really about taking you through a course over 8 weeks that will systematically overwrite all of those limiting beliefs so you can get over issues with money, success, love, health, wealth, you name it.
So Marisa, basically what you're trying to say is all of us have beliefs. Some beliefs work for us. Some are limiting beliefs which we picked up during a childhood, whenever it is, because of somebody said something.
Sure.
You're not even consciously aware of it, right? It's a subconscious program running it.
Yeah.
So when they come to therapy, if they're open to it, you have a process where you find the pattern, where it has come from.
Yeah.
You understand the pattern and rewire it in such a way that you change the programming, use new words, and change the story you told yourself about the incident, and life changes.
Yeah, I worked with this really lovely Indian man many years ago, and he had so many allergies, and it really affected his life. And he remembered a very simple scene. He lived with his mother and his aunties and his grandmother, very Indian, in a village, and the father had left. The father was working overseas, but he would come back. He didn't see him very much. And he said, I want to be like my dad. I want to be like my dad. And one day the father was taking him out. He said, I wind up the window because I'm allergic to trees, and I'm allergic to apples, I'm allergic to avocados, I'm allergic to everything. He said, by the end of that day, I had all these allergies. And I've had them ever since. Because he said, I want to be like my dad. He didn't see that he identified with a dad. He lived in a house full of lovely women, but he wanted to be like his dad. And the brain said, I can make you like him right now. I'll give you the same allergies. And In 20 minutes, all those allergies disappeared. And before he left, he ate an avocado and apples. It was amazing. They've all gone. But he was living in a world of, always having a runny nose and sneezing and itchy eyes because he said a thought, but that's not a thought to the mind. That is a command.
Yeah.
Make me like my dad in the same way as get me out of going to school. Get me out of that meeting I'm dreading. The brain goes, I can do that. Give you a stomach ache, give you chronic diarrhea, because the brain is so little. When you say, I'd give anything not to have to give that presentation, give anything not to have to go to that event, the brain goes, I can do that. And it actually does. And most of us have done this. I'd love a week off just lying on the couch. And then we get a cold and we go, oh, I didn't want that.
Yeah.
Now I'm lying on the couch streaming. I wanted a week off going to the beach and being with my friends. But we do that. We make a request. But it's actually a command. Get me out of that. So we don't even know we're doing it. So then we have to say, okay, I would like to have some days off and being super healthy, or I'd like to go for that exam and know I remember everything. So rather than saying, I work with small children. Imagine that's a genie. I can't say, darling, I want you to rub the lamp and make a wish. And they do this. I wish I wouldn't fail at maths. I wish I wouldn't have to eat lunch. I wish children didn't hate me. See, now the genie's going to have to make that real. How can it do that? And they go, oh, I stay at home. Exactly.
Yeah.
But how about making a better wish? I wish to be amazing at maths. I wish to have lots of friends. I wish to eat lunch with 5 different people who want like me. And now the genie's going to make that real. So we waste our wish. I wish I wouldn't fail. I wish that wouldn't go wrong. I wish I wasn't so anxious. Change the wish. I wish for it to be successful. I wish to be confident. I wish to radiate self-belief. So even small children understand that this is a genie.
Yeah.
It's got to make your wishes real, so make better wishes. Yeah. I wish to be magnetically lovable. I wish my boss to notice I'm great and promote me. Not, I wish I wouldn't keep getting overlooked all the time. So we've got to be very careful how we dialogue with this robot up here.
Yes.
Because it does what it thinks we want, and often we don't want it at all.
So technically, we are the creator of our life. Everything which has happened till
Absolutely.
now, we have created either by the way we think or the beliefs we have. If that's
Sure.
true,
Yeah.
we take 100% responsibility for this. We can change it.
We can always change
You
it.
can change it. You can create whatever
Yeah.
life you want from now
Yeah,
on
yeah.
by changing your beliefs, by working on the words you say. That's amazing, Marisa.
Yeah.
That's just amazing. I think for everyone watching, this is 100% hope to really create the life you want. Now, having said that, can you just give us a little light about RTT?
Rapid Transformational Therapy. You see, people think therapy is long. I go in every week for years and years, and I'm talking about myself, and it's so boring. And it is, that's right. It was invented in the 50s, so we had time to roll up and talk about ourselves, mostly women. No one's got time anymore for that. And when if I went to the emergency room, I wouldn't go, hey, I've broken my knee. Can we have a relationship? I've broken my knee. I want you to fix it. And emotional pain is the same. I'm in pain. I want you to fix it. So I thought going to the therapy should be like going to the emergency room. And RTT is called Rapid Transformational Therapy. So you come in, and in one session, certainly 3 at the most, somebody will find your pain, understand your pain, and remove your pain. That's the thing. It's not enough. People understand why they drink. They still drink. Understand why they shout at their kids. They still do it. RTT finds it, understands it, and changes it immediately. So people can speak on stage. They can get that promotion. They can get that pay rise. They can have that relationship. They can find a career they love and be outstanding at it. Because it reactivates what a baby is born with, phenomenal self-belief. It reactivates it and recreates it. It's very powerful, but its power is in its swiftness, its simplicity. Because people are scared of therapy because, who's got 5 years? And also, aren't I going to therapy because something's wrong with me? Often you go to therapy because you want to be the best version of yourself. It's not what is wrong with you. It's how can I be even better than I am? How can I reach my goals? How can I get rid of... You all have, I call blocking thoughts and limiting beliefs, and they get in your way. And therapy is a bit like being a detective. A detective is gathering information. Then a doctor extracting all that toxic stuff. And then a coder coding in something new. So it's that combination. I've got my detective hat, I'm working out what went wrong. And now I put on my doctor hat and I'm extracting all the toxic stuff. And now I put on my coder hat and I'm coding into you greatness. You see, Muhammad Ali said, I told everyone I was the greatest, but I wasn't. But I said it. You know what? I became it.
Yep.
Isn't that a great concept?
Brilliant.
But he also believed it. It wasn't, I'm going to say, he believed it. He said it. I'm the greatest with unshakable conviction, with unwavering certainty. And that's the thing. You can't mumble this out of the side of your mouth. You got to state it and add some energy to it. And if you say, I find it very hard to visualize being great, close your eyes and imagine not just what does that look like. What does it? What do people say to you? What do you hear? What does it feel like? We talk about the taste. I can taste the money. I can smell the money. So use all your senses. What does it look like, feel like, sound like, smell like, taste? I can taste the success. And then it gets easier to make it real.
Marisa, thank you for creating RTT, because I have met so many people who have gone through it and it's really worked for them. I've met so much of therapists who are doing fabulous work across the world.
Fabulous, yeah.
Let's talk about a few things which are happening in India. And I want to start with addiction. Let's say any addiction. Most people blame what the addiction is on, either it's substance or porn. But I believe leave what they're doing. Why are they doing is more important, right? What is that numb feeling they're running away from? What is that feeling they're not okay with it? They want a quick fix, right?
Sure.
Can you just talk about what is addiction first?
An addiction is classified as anything that takes you away from a bad feeling to a good feeling. So you can have addiction to food, particularly sugar, alcohol, drugs, porn, shopping. There's so many. You can even be addicted to shoplifting because it gives you a high. And now we get addicted to screen. People are addicted to their phones, but you're numbing out. You're trying to get to a better feeling. And you see, if you're looking out there, I need my phone, I need a glass of wine, I need a cake. If you're looking out there, you'll never succeed because you got to go in here.
Yeah.
Why do you need more? Again, because you don't feel enough. So the cause of most addictions is not enoughness. If I'm not enough, I need loads of shopping, I'm hoarding, I'm eating more, I'm binging on Netflix because I'm not enough. So while you treat the addiction, including an addiction to porn, which is a very bad idea because it numbs you and it doesn't show you a real loving relationship, it just shows you sex and it isn't even real. And people say, no, I'm so addicted to porn now I can't have real sex. Or I'm so addicted to this crazy sex that I can't have normal sex anymore, which is a great shame. So go back and say, what's missing in me? Put your hand on something and say, this emptiness inside, where does it come from? It comes from the unmet needs of a child. And a child has very simple needs. They need to feel connected, significant, safe, loved, and to know they matter, which is very simple. But imagine you go through life and you don't feel safe, you don't feel loved, you don't feel connected, you don't feel significant, you don't think you matter. Now you have this emptiness. And you're going to fill it with alcohol or food or shopping. But of course, it's an emotional void. So the more stuff you buy, people say, I bought all these cushions, but I need more. I bought all these shoes, but I need more. I've eaten all this food, but I need more. I've drunk all this drink, but I need more, because you're trying to fill an emotional void with stuff. So go inside and say, those 5 needs were not met. And when they're not met, we can only do 2 things. We give them up. I'm never going to find love. I'm never going to have success. This is my lot in life. Or we give them away. I'm going to find somebody, usually a partner, and they're going to meet all these needs. Sometimes it's a child. Sometimes it's a therapist. Can you meet all these needs for me? But here's the magic. Do it yourself.
Yes.
You see, it was your parents' job to meet those needs, undoubtedly. If they didn't do it and you're 25, it's not their job, it's your job. And you can do it. Just sit with yourself and go, I matter. I absolutely matter. I am significant. I am lovable. I'm safe to be myself. And I can find connection everywhere I go. Say it again and again. And your mind will start to make you look for connection. It will start to have you notice you're significant. It will start to show you how safe you are, because it's called confirmation bias. First, we make a belief. Then the belief makes us, then we look for proof of what we have chosen to believe. And when you've chosen to believe good stuff, you look for proof. When you've chosen to believe bad stuff, you also look for proof. So do it yourself, and your brilliant brain will start going in the direction of you're safe, you're lovable, you're connected, and it will find proof, and it will feed it back to you because it's a biofeedback. When you do it the wrong way, I'm not good enough, it finds proof and feeds that back to you as well. So you have to run the show. I always say your brain is a bit like a Ferrari and you're the driver. But if you don't have lessons, how will you ever drive a Ferrari? Or how will you ever ride a horse if you don't have lessons? So this is a Ferrari. But if you have some Ferrari driving lessons, you'll handle that machine so beautifully. And the lessons are very clear. Speak in the present tense. Use powerful words, and use words in front of it. Don't sound great, sound freaking great, incredibly great. Don't sound lovable, sound magnetically lovable. Yeah. I'm supremely confident. I'm wildly successful. I am phenomenally, incredibly talented. So layer it, stack it, make it even more exciting and dynamic, and turn your brain on with pictures that make words that are good, and then it will actually go towards them because your brain will move towards whatever you focus on. But you've got to focus on good stuff, positive stuff. And as you do that, you're forgetting the negative stuff at the same time.
So there's an emotional void inside you, which you're trying to feed through an addiction. Step number 1 is to understand there's an emotional void. Mm-hmm. And step number 2 is to reprogram with the words you use. And please ask for help.
Yeah.
Because there are people out there who can really help you out, right?
Yeah.
I think people should ask for help. There are therapists out there, coaches out there who can really, really help them come out of it. And the minute they fix this, they don't need the addiction.
I mean, if you've got a bug in your computer, wouldn't you ask for help?
Yep.
So when you've got a bug in this computer, there are great coaches and therapists and programs who can help you. I'm Enough program will help you powerfully. Our RTT training will help you. Just like you'd get help to get that bug out of your computer. You got to get that bug out of your brain. And it's
I think
very
people
easy.
out there listening and watching have to really think through what is the bug they need to fix, and the help is out there.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you one more question which is happening in India. A lot of live-in relationships happening. A concept of marriage is changing here. People don't want to commit.
Yeah.
Now, your take on it. Your take on why people don't want to commit.
Well, if you see your parents are very unhappily married, that is what marriage means to you. You know, I was working with Stephen Bartlett, and he said to me, marriage was always a prison because my mother couldn't leave. So we learn what we live. So imagine, male or female, you've seen a relationship that isn't good. You think, I don't want that. And rather than saying, oh, I don't want that because I can choose someone better, your brain links all the pain to being married. When you experience pain, your brain searches for it. If you've ever had food poisoning, I'll never eat that again. And actually 10 years later, you still can't. But if you see unhappy marriages, you link pain, you think, I don't want that. And then, of course, you know, it wasn't that long ago, certainly my grandmother, even my mother's era, where a woman, you know, men could be successful. We did all the stuff for them. They did everything. They could go out and work, and we did everything, raised the kids, looked after the home, and we think, oh, I can do this for myself. So now women want a career, and they don't want to just support a man because it's not enough for them. And so a lot of women think, oh, what's in it for me?
Yep.
And they see something and think, well, I don't really think I like that very much. So we are seeing marriage as not that thing about the man was the provider, the woman was subservient. That's all gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
Women want to be equal, and they say, I want the same. But the men don't say, well, I'll stay at home and support you. I'll look after the house and the children. So we've got a bit of a disconnect. And then we hear, you know, all these songs about, you know, all these stories, you get married and you live happily ever after. We're now living into 110. So what worked for you at 25 may not work for you at 55. And we don't ask, we go, oh, is this person gorgeous? Are they sexy and passionate? We should be asking some of this, are they interesting? Are they kind? Are they intelligent? Could I spend my whole life with this person? Because for a relationship to survive, you have to have best friend chemistry and sexual chemistry and deep respect and admiration. Some people say, well, I've got the best friend chemistry, but the sex is terrible. Others say, we don't even have sex. Others say, oh, the sex is great. I don't actually really like this person, but the sex is very binding. So you've got to have all three, especially in the beginning. You've got to have best friend chemistry, which doesn't mean you go to the nail bar with them, but if I was going to a desert island, my husband is coming with me because he is my best friend. So you've got to have that. You have to have sexual chemistry. And that isn't just happening. You might have to do some work. What are you like? What are they like? Are you compatible? Can we make this work together by expressing what we need and like? And then the respect and admiration means you never roll your eyes at their jokes or dismiss them in front of your friends or bitch about them to your family because you respect them. And they respect. If you have all those three things, your marriage will last forever. But no, people just say, oh, this person's got nice hair. They got a nice house. They got a great body. They've got some money. That's the one. and you're asking the wrong questions. But if you ask the right
I
questions...
just love the way you broke up the 3 things you need for any relationship to work.
Yeah.
Best friend chemistry, sexual chemistry, and mutual admiration, respect.
And respect. Yeah, and if you have that, you'll stay married for 60 or 70 or 80 years. And people who've got great marriages always have that. They'll show you, that's what they have.
That's a great way you dissected it. So let's go back to what we spoke, live-in relationship. It's not right or wrong. There's no judgment call here. You're saying they've seen their parents, they've seen the world, and they made a call to themselves saying that I don't want to commit because I don't think seeing that is working.
Yeah.
This is much better because I can get in and get out.
Yeah.
Now, getting in and getting out, casual sex, let's go to that.
Mm-hmm.
How does it, because is love missing there and it's only an act, how does that fit in? What happens in future when you do only casual sex?
Well, for some people, it's like a sport, isn't it? Sex is like sport, and it's fun, and there's no commitment. The problem is if you have sex with someone a lot, especially a woman, you start to fall for them. So women tend to need emotion in order to have sex, and men need sex to feel emotion. So it's a slight disconnect. But when you have sex with someone a lot, you often get very bonded to them. So casual sex isn't always bad if it's with the same person. Yes, but if it's with different people, you're never going to have a chance to get emotionally connected. And after a while, meaningless sex is meaningless sex. I've worked with a lot of rock stars. They'll say, I'm actually really bored. I just want someone. Same with the football. They go, I can have a different girl every night, but it's nothing. It's like saying I can have a 5-star gourmet meal every night. Now I'm craving a pizza because I'm bored with it. Because we are, as human beings, wired for connection. From the minute we're born, we are hardwired to find connection, avoid rejection. And there's nothing more beautiful than finding someone you love and making a life with them. So it's fine when you're young to have a few partners and find out what you like. But if you're still doing that for 10 or 15 years, the saddest men I've ever seen are those who never got married. And so casual sex is fine. It's okay. But it's only for a little while. The best thing in the world is waking up with someone who loves you, going to sleep with someone who loves you, getting off a plane to someone who's waiting for you, going home to someone who loves you. Because our greatest moments are spent with people that we love, that love us. And when we talk to people whose life is ending, they'll say, my best moments, the day I got married, the day my son was born, being with my partner. No one says, it's when I got that $1 billion deal. $1 billion deal is lovely, but everything you want, without exceptions, because of how it makes you feel. Why do you want Gucci shoes? Why do you want a Prada handbag?
Yeah.
Because of how it makes you feel.
Yeah.
But what you really want is to feel loved. There's nothing like feeling loved. Finding the person and creating the family if you want that, or just finding the person, someone who has your back.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
I agree, Marisa. You're married. I know I met John. I'm married for 17 years. After a long day, I just want to go back home, have the chat with my wife, Shiny. And that's priceless.
Priceless,
just priceless. You just want to go back for that chat. Nothing else. Just sit. Sometimes no conversation. Just sit next to each other. Just read a piece of paper. Because you long for the connection.
Yeah,
and that grounds you.
Yeah. Our DNA requires connection, and we're creating a world of disconnection. I can get in a WeGov taxi, go to the bank, there's no one there. Go to the store, there's no one there. I even went to an airport recently, they were all robots. It was very odd. But our DNA requires connection, and when we get disconnected, we become very unhappy. And so connection makes our hearts sing. And there are people who say, I never got married, I never had children, I built a business. But not all, but most of them, at the end of their life say, actually, that business didn't cuddle me when I was sick. That business didn't wrap their arms. That business didn't look after me. That business didn't spend Christmas Day and Valentine's Day with me. So we've got to get back to love.
Yeah, the biggest regret is when you hit the bed every night. You might have money, you might have fame. People might think 100 things about you, but deep down you feel lonely and you don't have connection. I think that's very, very sad.
And I've been working with a lot of billionaires recently, and I saw something very interesting, which is the isolation of super wealth. They're isolated, and if they've inherited, they have a lot of shame and guilt too, because they got it so easy, and they start to actually get rid of it. I was at a billionaire's house recently. I thought, gosh, I would never want this life. I mean, you must have had 40 staff, and it was all but none of it was real. I couldn't wait to go home to my much smaller house and my much happier husband, because, we always must go back to love. Who loves me? Who do I love? Have I got love in my life? Do I have a partner that I love? Do I have a family? Do I have friends who love me? Because if you wake up without that, you haven't got anything. You know this expression, some people are so poor, all they've got is money.
Yep.
You
Over
want
dinner, we
love.
had this conversation. I remember we were talking about fame and money. And a lot of people out there in India today want to fame, money, and they want it
course.
fast without the hard work.
Yeah.
But something very interesting we spoke in that conversation. We said that if you're somebody who's broke internally and you have fame and money, you're not going to be happy. It's going to be
No.
worse.
Yeah.
Because fame and money only amplifies who you already are.
Of course.
Can you talk about it?
Yeah, so I've worked with a lot of mega famous people, and the belief is, oh, fame damages people. Have you seen that? Actually, no, what I've seen is damaged people are drawn to fame because they have a belief. Life isn't fair. This isn't fair. But if I was famous, I would be loved and adored. And so they have a powerful drive. And you can be a famous athlete or a politician, but that requires work. But just being a famous star, now I can be a reality star. So you think, oh, I can just do that. So now these people want to be famous. Everybody will love them. And they pull it off and then they think, oh, but you don't love me. You love this body, this voice. We look at someone like Whitney Houston, beautiful, stunning. I mean, that girl had it all.
Yeah.
So did George Michael. Had it all except the one thing, which is I'm lovable. Yep. So they go to fame to become lovable, to have that validated, but then they realize, oh, I mean, look at poor Britney Spears. And then, but it doesn't make, then and also the whole world knows now. And you believed, oh, I don't feel good, but I've got this dream, I'll be better. And I've got the dream and I feel even worse. Where am I going to go? And the only way you can go is down. So fame does not make it better, but you can be famous, but make sure you're grounded. Make sure you're self-assured. Make sure you've got good people around you, because it can be very lonely, because that level of fame disconnects, because we connect by being, I'm like you, you're like me, we like the same things. When you're super famous and an idol, it can be very, very lonely.
So personal growth is very important. You need to work
So
on yourself while you're going up.
important, yeah,
or it's going to be a
definitely.
recipe for disaster.
Yeah, you know, Carrie Fisher said, I started as Princess Leia in Star Wars at 16. I started at the top. The only way to go was down. Yeah. And she said, I got too much fame too early. I didn't know what to do with it. And it actually ruined me. And that happens a lot with people who get fame very early. And also, if you don't work for it, it has no value whatsoever. So you're set about getting rid of it, just like people who win the lottery. 70% of them are bankrupt in 3 years because you can't value something you didn't earn. Yeah. It's nice to earn it because you think, you know, I did this myself. And then you have a sense of pride if you just get it. It's like inherited wealth. You often don't feel that value.
Something which you need to tell everyone is hard work is important for you to accomplish whatever you want, but you need to work on yourself every single day for the rest of your life, because you need to evolve and grow.
Well, if you want to make it in life, there's something called mastery. You know, for me, I looked at therapy and thought it's a bit old-fashioned. It has a very strange promise. The promise is, bring me your pain, and you may or may not get better, but we'll have a relationship. Yeah. And I thought, why not bring me your pain and I'll fix you in an hour? That sounds much more appealing. So in the same way that Lululemon mastered little black leggings, Starbucks mastered selling coffee, Dyson mastered selling hairdryers and fans at a huge price, I thought, well, I could master therapies. If you want to make it in life, find a product and master it. And while you're mastering that product, master yourself. It's never been easier to go onto YouTube and learn how to speak in public, how to sell, how to have self-belief, how to like yourself. We live in a world where, we have hundreds of free programs on lovability, self-esteem, money blocks, love blocks. They're all free at marisapeer.com. So do some mastery, master yourself, and then learn how to manage yourself too. You know, if you want to be successful in business, one of the things you don't want to do is decision fatigue. So Tony Robbins wears the same clothes every day. A lot of people I know have the same food delivered every day. And when you wake up and think, what shall I wear? What shall I eat? How shall I do my hair? It's you have got decision fatigue. Yep. So keep the decisions for the big stuff. What shall I do with my business day? Who shall I call? What shall I create? Very smart people master themselves and they manage themselves. So one of the things we teach within RTT is mastery management, but also marketing. Yeah. You can be an amazing coach. You can be a phenomenal therapist, but if you don't understand marketing, no one knows who you are, where you are. So if you want to master yourself, you have to learn more skills. Like, I've written 7 books. That was easy. But I didn't realize that actually when you've written a book, here comes the hard work. You've got to do all this work to market it, writing, doing book tours, doing pieces for magazines, doing interviews, because it isn't enough to just have your skill. You have to understand marketing. You also have to understand your message.
Yes.
Have you gotten a message? Is it an emotional message? What's your client's pain point? As a coach, if you can understand your client's pain point, maybe they're a burnt out executive, and you can have a message that gets to them, you'll do very well. So, but these are things we have to learn. No one is saying, I'm a marketer, I know how to have a message, I know mastery and management. We don't know any of this stuff, but it's never been easier to learn it, and it's often free. So I love that expression, what do you require? Because what you require will require something of you. So think about what you require, and then tell me what you require. What does it require of you? And then here's the thing, it's called JFD, just freaking do it. So if you require to write a book, write it, but then it requires all that stuff, do it. Start doing book tours. Wayne Dyer put his books in them, and he drove for 2 years around America selling books, going on radio shows. He couldn't get a book deal. But, we have this thing now about, well, I'm a manifest. I'm going to sit here and go, I'm Shanti, and the world's going to fall in my lap. But manifesting actually isn't like that. Manifesting is really 3 key things. First one is, am I worth it? And if the answer is no, you will never manifest.
Yep.
So spend a lot of time, 80% of your time should be on I'm worth it, I'm worth it. Get into the mindset of I'm worth it by stating it a lot. That's the first step to manifesting. You can't do it unless you believe you're worth it and you deserve it. The second step is work really hard. Every manifestor I know is working hard. They're on tour, they're writing books, they understand you don't sit in the garden looking at the lily pond and manifest. Money doesn't come out of the shower. The love of your life's not going to appear at the door, even if they're the Amazon delivery person. So the second step is action, execute, do the work really hard. But the good news is when you do what you love, it never feels like hard work. I mean, I've worked really hard for 40 years, but it's been easy because I love it. And the third step to manifest is you cannot manifest from scarcity. If you're worried about it going wrong and you're living in a scarcity mindset, you can't expand to abundance and contract into negativity at the same time. You can't expand to abundance and contract to scarcity because these are now conflicting. The mind can't hold conflicting beliefs or conflicting thoughts. So you have to go out. Am I thinking about, am I keeping that bit of old cheese? Because am I keeping that bit of old makeup? Am I worried, keeping stuff? Am I being a bit mean about tipping because these are scarcity? Let's be abundant. Throw that stuff away, give it away, recycle. Stop keeping stuff that you don't need and look at your thoughts. How many of your thoughts are scarcity thoughts? It could go wrong. And make yourself think about the thoughts. I'm worth it. I'm moving towards it. It's moving towards me. What I want wants me. So you want to expand and expand and expand by doing 3 things. Convince yourself you're worth it. Work really hard and always have abundant thoughts instead of scarcity. That's manifesting. That's what it is. It isn't sitting in the shower believing money's coming down on you and that the love of your life's going to appear on a white horse and whisk you away. It does mean work, but you're here to find your gift. And when you found your gift, you're here to perfect your gift. And then you can take your gift to market. And we all have a gift, but you've got to find it. And then you've got to make it even better than it already is. And then you can share it with the world.
I remember something you said, when you want something in life, you should be willing to do what you don't want to do.
Oh, exactly.
Because you need to do the stuff or else you'll not get that.
The mark of success is how much you're willing to do what you don't want to do. Because people who make it will say I had to get up early, went to bed late. Imagine you want a gold medal. Well, you're going to get up at 4 and train. And if you're living, you're going to be scraping the ice off your car and running around a field that's probably got snow on it. But getting what you want, there's an expression that says, take whatever you want, then pay for it.
Pay for it.
Because, if I want to write a book, I have to sit on my own for months at a time. Writing is very isolating. If I want to be an Olympic athlete, I've got to train. If I want to have a business, I'm going to have to learn a lot. But a lot of people would rather give up their goals and do, no, I don't want to do that. It's too hard, too painful, too difficult. Everyone who makes it says, I wanted it and I did what I didn't want to do to get to where I wanted to go. That's what success would be. People who felt, I didn't want to do that, so I gave up. It was too hard, too painful, too uncomfortable. On your way to success, you've got to do a lot of what you do not like. I mean, even I'm sure Beyonce says, I've got to go on another plane, go on another world tour. I'm in a different city every day. You know, if you look behind the scenes at Taylor Swift performing, I mean, I'm sure it's lovely, but it is actually hard with all those costume changes. I looked at the Queen and all the stuff, and the speeches and always being on a plane. So you don't get what you want by doing nothing. Yes. You know, even if you wanted a flat stomach, then you don't eat carbs. You got to do the plank 600 times a day. I know someone who said, you know, I do crunches 600 and I never eat carbs because I want a stomach you can bounce a ball off. I think I don't want it that much, actually. But if I did, I would have it because I do those things I don't want. No carbs, lots of stomach crunches. So if you want it, what does it require of you?
What's the price you're willing to pay?
Yeah, and often it is a price. So people who succeed do what they don't, but they also do it first. They make those difficult calls first. Yep. They understand that people who got me here can't take me, then I'm going to have to let these people go because your staff can get you so far, but often no further. And that can be hard. Or you can say, you know, my father-in-law is in the business, but actually... Yeah. It's not working. I'm going to have to let that person go. And that isn't easy. It's very hard.
Correct.
But if you want it, you have to do what you don't want to do, and you have to do it first. And then it becomes easier.
Yeah. Then it becomes habitual. One more question, Marisa. This is about relationships, or it can be anything. Some people attract the same thing. The pattern repeats again and again. Let's say you have an abusive boyfriend. You let it go, have some time. Again, you find a guy. The guy looks good, but it's the same pattern. Or it can be the same pattern either in business where you have a partner who came and backstabbed you. After some time, you started something. It's a pattern repeating. Can you talk? Why does a pattern repeat? And what
First
do you
of
have
all,
to
the
do
brain is heavily patterned. You know, if we look at a plane crash, we can predict what people are going to do. We're going to rush to the front. So the brain is patterned. We can see how people react in a disaster. So the brain loves patterns. They're like catnip to the brain. But the most vexing thing is the brain likes what it already knows and what it is familiar with. So here's something. If you are never praised in your whole life and I say, oh, I love what you just said. You said, oh, it's terrible. You will actually reject the praise and adding criticism because we like what is familiar. We survived on the planet by making stuff familiar, never leaving our tribe, never eating weird, strange food that appeared. And that's how we learn to live. Look at your life. What is familiar? Lying on the couch, watching Netflix, wasting time. What's unfamiliar? Being praised, and flip it. Go, I'm going to make praise familiar. And I'm going to make this laziness unfamiliar. If I drink water every day, if I put a bit of silicone on my finger and shove it in my eye, I can make even that familiar. We can make anything familiar. You know, addicts make shoving a needle in their arm every day familiar. That's not good.
Yes.
Porn addicts make it, but they find I can't get through the day without it because the brain will go for anything you make familiar. It does it for you. That's a fact. But here's the useful bit. All you have to do is make good stuff. I mean, I'm going to meditate every morning. I'm going to do a bit of yoga, a bit of stretch. I'm going to drink water first. I'm going to take that sugar out of my coffee. And then it becomes familiar. So it is very vexing to see this in action. We keep going back to what we know and what is familiar and what's comfortable. But we can use that to our advantage to go, well, let's make good stuff. And then I'll go back to it. Let's make good stuff, and then I'll go back to it. And while I'm doing that, I'm making all the bad stuff unfamiliar. So if you took sugar out of your tea, it would taste hideous. Yes. And then you go, I can't believe I drank that stuff. You know, I just worked with a man who was having 20 cups of, do you know Carrack tea?
Yep.
20 cups a day. That's full of sugar. Yep. I mean, it's delicious. I love it. But I mean, I have to ban myself from having that because it's so full of sugar. But he just made that familiar. When we took it away, he made that familiar too.
So all you need to do is, okay, this is what the brain knows. It's been in this pattern of familiar. You just need to consciously make what works for you familiar.
You have to say it. I am making getting out of bed and doing 100 sit-ups familiar. I'm making getting out of bed and having water before my coffee familiar. I'm making getting out of bed and taking the sugar out of my coffee familiar. Say it and say it because you think, I don't really like the coffee like this. But then eventually it will kick in and it will do it for you. So people who are good will say, get up, like Jack Canfield, and I meditate. I do some stretches. I don't listen to the radio in my car. I put on a personal development CD or a program. So you can choose what to make familiar and unfamiliar.
How long does that change take?
For 21 days, but for some people it can be instant. If you use hypnosis to get rid of sugar, it's immediate. But about 21 days for the brain to not only wire in a new belief, but to let go of an old one. We've all done that. I mean, how many of us said, I stopped drinking Diet Coke. I stopped having sugar in my tea. I stopped wasting time. I banned myself from being on Instagram all day. I thought, I'm not going to reach for my phone. I'm going to reach for my partner. First, you make a choice. And then you wire in by saying, I'm choosing this. So when I decided to eat better foods, I'm choosing to say no to sugar. I'm choosing to feel good about it. Because the trick is to go, I can't eat sugar and I miss it. So I'm choosing to say no to sugar and I'm choosing to feel great about it. I'm choosing to notice that my skin is better, that I have more energy, that my body doesn't actually like sugar. It's my brain. My body doesn't go, hey, knock me out with sugar and chemicals. My brain gets very high on that sugar and chemicals. So you make a decision, my life would be better without sugar. But now I've got to say, I am choosing to say no to sugar and choosing to love it. Because if you go, it's so unfair, look at that candy, it's so delicious. You've got to wire your brain, override it. So I would say that. And that was a life-changing expression. I'm choosing this and choosing to feel great about it. Okay, now the brain goes, you've made a choice and you like it. I will take away all the desire because you told me not only have you chosen it, but you like it. I'm saying, life isn't the same without a glass of wine. Life's so boring without pizza. Now you've got the brain in those conflicting thoughts. Yes. I'm choosing to give up dairy because it gives me headaches. I'm choosing to love it, choosing to find all the great substitutes. Now the brain is coming with you. You're in that one lane, but going, I'm not having dairy, but who could live their life without cheese? I'm not having wine, but it's so boring. I'm not smoking, but all the cool people smoke. Now your brain is going in two lanes.
Yes.
Put it in one. I'm choosing this and choosing to feel great about it. I want it. I love it. I've chosen it and I'm making it familiar. And amazingly, you can make, that's how I gave up sugar, gave up junk food, got myself to love working out, because I'd always say the magic word, I'm choosing this and choosing to love it. And I'm choosing to feel great about it, and I want it, and I've chosen it. Because, you see, we think we haven't got a choice. I need that. I'm addicted to sugar. You've given yourself some feedback. When you say, no, I'm choosing to look at that and go, it's just chemicals. It's just nothing.
So change is actually very easy. Once you take a decision, and use the right words and command your brain, which becomes familiar to your brain, change happens. That's it.
Make a decision, look at what's great about it, and then remind yourself, I've chosen this. I've chosen to work all weekend on my website. I want to be successful, rather than, oh God, I could be out with my friends. This is so boring. No, I've chosen it. When I write books, I have to say I'm choosing to sit down and write all day. There's nowhere I'd rather be, which isn't true at all. But if I say it enough, you know what happens? It becomes true. I find it engrossing and rewarding, but I have to still say, because I'm writing 2 books at the moment, I'm choosing this. I love it. Writing is engrossing and thrilling and rewarding. Otherwise, I go, it's so lonely to sit at that desk all day. And look, I've been here for hours. I've only got 4 pages written. But I always say I love it. It's rewarding. It's engrossing. And use the words thrilling, rewarding, satisfying. Because you can trick the brain. You can lie to your brain. And I'm a great believer in lying, cheating, and stealing. Lie to your brain, cheat, fear, steal. So when I say I love writing, I'm lying to my brain. I'm cheating the part that goes, I'd really rather go and watch TV, and I'm stealing back commitment. So lie, cheat, and so we lie to ourselves every day. That's a lovely gift. Thank you.
So lying, cheating, stealing is good when you do it to your brain.
Lie to your brain. Cheat, fear, steal back the phenomenal confidence and motivation that is your birthright. So lie to your brain, cheat, fear, and steal back what you were born with, phenomenal self-belief, because you had it. It's been buried under all this stuff, and get it back by lying, saying, I love it, I've chosen it, I want it. So when I say I love not eating sugar, that's not really true. I could eat some chocolate right now, but I go, no, I like berries. I got to keep my brain in that lane of berries, Otherwise, I go into that lane of chocolate, which makes me feel terrible, makes me tired, gives me headaches, makes my skin break out. But the sugar addiction is so powerful. Even though I know that, I could go back and so I have to keep my brain, it's a no vegan says, oh, I love bacon. I love pork chops. They go, I don't eat animals. I don't eat anything that lived. They don't go, I don't eat animals. I'd give anything for a beef curry right now. They're only in one lane. A devout Hindu wouldn't go, I love beef. They go, that's a disgusting thing to eat this sentient creature. So we understand that people who are on it don't have these conflicting thoughts. They go, no, I'm going here.
Marisa, something very, very important we need to discuss because it's happening very often these days. Depression, mental health issues, a lot. Can you talk a little about it?
Do you know 1 in 8 people now has mental health issues around the world, which is extraordinary. But again, that does come back to the not enoughness. We're tribal people. We used to know who we were and who we belonged to. And I found depression comes down to 3 things. The first one is harsh, hurtful, critical words that you use about yourself on a regular basis, of being super critical of yourself, having super critical parents too. The second one is being massively disconnected. We live in a world now where we're on our screens, and we are creating massive disconnection for a generation. And the third one is not following your heart. It's like going into the family business and I should be a lawyer, I should be a doctor, but it isn't what makes your heart sing. So these 3 things cause depression. And if you are depressed, I would really advise you to look at connection. Start with at least joining a group from your computer. Talk to someone, find some groups, go out, look at what makes your heart sing and stop being critical, become your own cheerleader. When you are depressed, it's very hard to do those things because depression means I'm going in. But just start with one thing, find a support group, find someone that can help you. Depression is not really a chemical imbalance in the brain. After all, that was made up by a drug company. You can't test for that. But it is these 3 things. I'm disconnected, I'm really hard on myself, and I've never followed my heart's desire. It's very hard to succeed not doing what you love because you're here to find out what you love, perfect what you love, and then make a living doing what you love. And if you do what you hate, that's going to lead to depression.
But how does anyone know they have a mental health problem? How do you really know?
Well, there's a lot of ways of finding out. Are you happy? Do you wake up? Do you have joy in life? Do you wake up and think, depression is going in. You have no motivation, no spark, no joy. Anxiety is I'm okay, but I'm anxious about giving that talk. I'm anxious about pulling off that presentation. But depression is, I have no motivation. The world is black. Nothing means anything. I don't have any enthusiasm. I just feel completely shut down. And it can lead to suicide and suicidal thoughts, but you can come out of it. You have to connect more than anything. Join a support group, find a connection, start to look at what you love and somehow get that into your life. And stop being critical. Start to be nice to yourself. Talk to yourself like your own best friend. Don't say you're an idiot. Say, darling, you're trying hard. Don't say you're stupid. Say you are smart. Don't say your life is rubbish. Say it's getting better. So praise yourself. Be kind to yourself and find connection. But really stop with the criticism immediately because it does lead to depression.
So it's self-critical criticism. If you don't feel happy, don't have joy in life, consistently, it's better to look inside and see what is it.
But also look outside. It's like we have an epidemic of old people who are so lonely, but also teenagers, especially teenage boys, and there is support. There are groups everywhere that you can join online first. Yeah. And then, I worked with a man who was suicidally depressed. He lost his job. He was never going to get another one. He lived in a very deprived area. And I said, you have no self-worth because you don't go to work. And he could only exist on welfare, so his life wasn't going to be amazing. I said, but why don't you start teaching IT to kids and teaching IT to their parents and have a soccer group? Because that's what he was good. He used to be a footballer. And he said, that's changed my life. I'm still poor. I'm still living on welfare. But in my community, I help people. I'm coaching these kids. I've got an IT class and I'm helping old people. And now I've got meaning and purpose. He might not have had money, but he had meaning and purpose. He had connection. He had community. So if you're depressed because your life isn't working out, where can you find meaning, purpose, connection, and community?
That's your solution. That's what you have to go for.
Yeah.
Let's talk about one more issue because a random research shows that you talk to 10 random people. at least 4 would have gone through some sort of abuse in the childhood.
Yeah.
And can you just talk about child abuse and what impact it creates when they grow up and how they can really work on it?
Yeah, so we have, of course, mental abuse, shouting at your kids, physical abuse, hurting them physically, and then we have sexual abuse, molesting kids, abusing them, which is a terrible, terrible thing, and it happens a lot. Then we now believe that every third person suffers some form of sexual abuse. And the hardest thing is the shame, the blame, the guilt. People believe it's my fault, And abusers are not averse to saying, oh, you've made me do this. You wanted this. If you tell anyone, you'll go to jail. So it becomes a shameful secret. And the first thing you must do is understand this. You have done nothing. This was done to you. It wasn't done with you. The abuser has the shame. But you're innocent now as you were then. And you have to let go of the blame and the shame. If all you do in your entire life is give up shame and blame and guilt because someone abused you, because you didn't participate in it at all. But the shame and the blame make it a secret that people keep. I worked with somebody recently who told me that he was abused. He hadn't even told his own wife. I said, go home and tell her. She'll be proud of you because you survived that. So we have to give people a voice. And one of the things that's very important as a parent is to use the correct, this is the vagina, this is a woo, this is a flower. People come and say, somebody looked at my woo-woo. Someone touched my flower. I don't even know what you're talking about. I say to my daughter, it's the vagina. No one is to touch that. And you tell people no one is to touch that. You have to empower children because abusers will sit in a park and they know which kid looks sad, alone, defeated. They never go for the brave, noisy ones who are going to scream out. So we need to make all our kids the brave, noisy ones. Don't touch my body. I was working with a group of girls who were all being abused by their school teachers in a country I won't mention. And we had to teach them to say, I don't like that. Don't touch my body. I don't like it. Because the teachers are like, oh, they like it. So we have to empower our children to go, no, I don't like this. This is my body. You may not touch it. Because, getting to the abusers, they have a belief that it's okay. Some people actually believe that children like sex, which is appalling. So while we can't make an in with them, we can make it with our kids by educating them to shout out. And stranger danger. When you see a kid being dragged down, if they're shouting out, this is a stranger, I don't know this person, we might actually intervene. So we know there's an epidemic of abuse. And we keep trying to get to the abusers. Let's get to the abusers and give them some skills. Give them some words, some language. Teach them. If you meet some guy in a park going, I lost my puppy, can you help me find it? That this is a lie. And a lot of playgrounds now don't even like to have random men in there. A lot of people are much more alert now. My friend was saying that she was in an airport and this guy came and said, I've just found this kid and I'm terrified to take her hand. Can you take her? He said, because I don't want to put her on my shoulders in case the parents think I'm abusing her. So now men are so terrified now of being thought of as abusers, they won't actually look at a lost kid. Just, of course, as she held the hand, sat her on her, and the parents turned up and it was all fine. But we have to really arm children with tools. Don't go off with strangers. If you get lost, always go to a family, mother with kids. You just give them some simple stuff. If you get lost, if someone stops their car and says, get in my car, no, it's a stranger danger. So give them the right words for their part of their anatomy. Teach them about stranger danger because if only schools could all do this, what we did with this school, it makes such a difference.
That's the prevention part, right? You go behind, educate the kids, tell them good touch, bad touch, tell them, scream the right words. You make them brave. It's going to stop there. Now the second part, people have already gone through and suffering. Maybe they are 20s, 30s, 40s. What advice do you have for them? How do they solve it? How do they get over it?
You've been abused and that's a terrible thing. You need to join a support group. You need to find people that can help you. You need to deal with the trauma of abuse. But the biggest thing, again, is realize that you haven't done anything wrong. There is no shame in you if someone touched your body. You have nothing to be ashamed of. And again, it happens to so many of us. If you have 4 daughters, only one of them will be raped before she leaves her teens. That's a terrible thing. But we have to take away the shame and put all the shame on the person doing it. That woman in France who said, shame must switch sides. What a great expression. Shame has to switch sides. The abuser holds all the shame and the blame, and the person who's abused holds none. Because we don't make them feel shame. We make them say, you're a survivor, you're resilient. Wow, you came through this. And could you help other people? So we do these two things. We arm children to understand what abuse is and to have a voice. Because the amount of ones who say, I didn't know what my granddad was doing. I didn't know what my mum's was doing. And I told her and she didn't understand either. Give them the right words very clearly. And then make shame switch sides and take it all away from abused people who should never feel embarrassed to say what's happened. They should have a voice to help it so it doesn't happen for the next generation.
Yeah, Marisa, the one thing I'm very clear from this podcast is we want people to believe they're greater than whatever has happened to them, irrespective of whatever their past is, their trauma is. At this minute, if they can change it.
Because you're not your past. Your past is a bow and you are an arrow. And you see, we use a bow to get the arrow to go as far away from the bow as it can. So when you put an arrow into a bow and you pull it back and the arrow goes and it goes fast and it goes far. And it goes straight, and no one goes, where's the bow? They go, look how far that arrow went. So see the abuse as a bow, a horrible bow, but a bow that you have gone so far, because you're not a bow, you're an arrow. And arrows get away from the bow, and they never go backwards, they go forwards, no matter how bad it was. And it could have been really bad. You are a survivor. I mean, you look at Louise Hay, Oprah Winfrey, some people who were abused and used that to help others. So it's a terrible thing, and you do need help, you need counseling, you need support, and a support group, but you also need to not blame yourself and to go, that's the past, I'm not going there, I'm going forwards. What happened to you doesn't define you. It's behind you, as bad as it was, and it's not who you are. It's something that happened, but it's not you.
I agree, Marisa, I totally agree. I want you to share your experience and what do you think about India and personal growth and what's happening in India?
Well, I love India. It's the most beautiful, spiritual, amazing country. I love the colors, the spices, the dances, the history. I've been here many times. It's a wonderful country. We have a huge Indian audience ourselves, which when we put on our school in Dubai, we have a lot of Indian people turn up, and it's amazing.
Any closing remarks you have for our audience?
If you want some therapy, look at RTT. We have RTT therapists here in India. They will help you rapidly and easily. So don't suffer alone when you're not fragile, you're resilient, and someone can rewire your whole system so you're strong and powerful rather than broken and helpless.
I agree, Marisa. It's time people own up their life, take 100% responsibility, and they are the creator of their future, and they have complete control on this wonderful mechanism and take life the way they want.
The most powerful thing you'll ever own is your brain. You are the most mind-boggling, priceless thing you'll ever own. But, be like the Ferrari. Be powerful, believe it, be proud of yourself, and learn how to run your brain so that you're not working for your brain is working for you.
Lovely. We have a ritual in Greater Than Podcast. We call it 3 to 1. 3. We want 3 beliefs which work for you. What are your 3 beliefs?
I'm enough. I'm here to do something amazing. And I'm safe to be myself. I'm safe to express myself. I'd also say life is wonderful.
Lovely. 2 books you would recommend people. Any 2 books.
I'm going to recommend my 2 books. I'm Enough and Tell Yourself a Better Lie. Because these books are guidebooks into changing your entire life. I wrote them to change people's lives. So if you buy them, they also come with 4 audios that really help you have confidence, self-esteem, self-love. And they're only about $10 each.
Lovely. The last one. If there's one person who's created maximum impact in your life, who would that be?
My grandmother, without question. My grandmother believed in me. She saw something amazing in me. And I know as a therapist that sometimes for kids, I'm that one person who believes in them. And here's something we should remember. Be that one person for someone else. As I see something amazing. I see genius in you. That's what she said to me all the time. No one else did, but she did. So be the person, but also find the person for you. If one person believes in you, a teacher, a grandparent, somebody, if one person, you'll always be okay. And many of us become therapists to be that one person for people who are broken. So my grandmother was that one person, but she also taught me the benefit of one person. So I became that one person for many other people. Someone said to me recently, I go onto your website, you're the only person saying something nice to me all week, which I thought was very sad. So find the one person, but even better, be that one person. If one person breathes in the planet, because of you, your life will always have meaning and purpose. And you can make one person breathe easier just by being kind, praising them, seeing something in them.
That's so beautiful, Marisa. I also believe in an 8 billion planet. there's never been a person like you before.
No,
There's never be a person like
there
you
never
after
will
you.
be again.
You are a
No.
unique you.
Yeah.
And you have a unique gift. You have a unique
Yeah.
ability you bring to the planet.
Sure.
If all of us can find that.
Yeah, and you know, even if your parents didn't want you, somebody wanted you to be here because here you are. You're here with gifts and talents. So self-belief.
Yeah.
You're unique.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing.
Yep. One more ritual we have this bands, and we let a guest choose one. Whichever one which works for you.
Let me have a
These
look.
affirmation bands with greater than there. I am greater than my fears. The one I have is my purpose is greater than me. So whichever one you want to pick.
Okay. I think I'm going to pick my impact. Because, you know, most people don't fear dying. They fear having lived a life without impact.
Yeah.
And when you
my
can have an
impact is
impact
greater than my influence. I love that.
Yeah, that's very much got my name all over it.
Thanks for being here, Marisa.
Thank you for staying till the end. This podcast is about helping you shift perspectives, push your limits, and take steps that actually move you forward. Just remember that you're greater than anything life throws at you. I am Surendran Jayasekar signing off. We'll see you again next Friday at 8 p.m. Until then, love yourself. Don't take life too seriously. Live a life of meaning and purpose.